set out to create a money routine that hits all of our favorite elements of Magic.
There's a torn and restored build, there's magic that happens in the spectator's hands, and then you have one of the most amazing object to impossible locations.
All of these effects are bundled together in one amazing and hard-hitting routine.
We're going to break down exactly what this routine looks like.
First, you have a spectator sign a dollar bill.
They then hold on to that dollar bill in between their hands.
You have a separate spectator sign a new dollar bill.
You take their bill and rip the corner off.
Then you take that corner and visually restore it.
Now this is my favorite part. When the first spectator opens up their hand to see their bill is now torn. This gets the best reactions.
Can you check your bill?
What?
Is it ripped?
Yes.
No. Is it ripped?
And the corner that's missing from their bill can appear anywhere. And I mean anywhere.
In your bank safe, buried under the ground, in your wallet, in their wallet if you get creative. We won't tell you how to live your life. Do what you want, but that corner can be anywhere.
If that goes back in one piece, open it up.
Shit's not real.
Dude, open it. Yeah, check it out. Dude! Oh, hold on, God. Wait. Come in, guys. Come here. Hold on. Nah, he's capping. Hold on. You don't think looking at the dollar? We're about to put the piece back on there. Watch. I don't know. What if we could make it go somewhere impossible? Something crazy, right? Like what?
Make it pop up in the trash can.
In the trash can?
Yeah.
And the best part is, they all use the single midnight breakfast gimmick to accomplish all of the method for you. Hey guys, I'm Daryl.
I'm also Daryl.
We're the Other Brothers, and this is Midnight Breakfast.
All right, my friends, you just saw the trailer for Midnight Breakfast with the Other Brothers. I've got them here with me to talk all about it. What's up, boys? How we doing?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, it's good to see you, but I don't recognize where you're at. I know you pretty good, but where the heck are you guys?
So we are in London,
Huh, okay.
and yeah, just doing secret things out here, hanging out, having fun.
All right. Well, thanks for spending some time with me here to talk all about your latest release here, Midnight Breakfast. A very exciting thing. I've been a big fan of the classic plot, I guess you could say, of the out to lunch principle because there's so much you could do with it. There's always been some limitations as far as the way that it worked and what you could do with it. And now you guys have taken that to the next level and made it much more organic and I feel like even more practical here. So why don't you tell the guys, obviously they just saw the trailer, but why don't you kind of talk about how you went from that to what this is now with the Midnight Breakfast principle?
Yeah, so I mean, same thing. We always loved out to lunch, and I think there's, literally thousands of effects that have been published with out to lunch. You know, just using that principle. I think you guys all mostly understand what it is, and we were obsessed with it, and we kind of had seen the different versions, you know, assuming that there always needed to be some kind of clip or rubber band or something, some sort of cover. And so one day we just kind of stumbled upon this principle that just worked with no rubber bands, no this, and then we developed it into an actual refined gimmick that allowed you to kind of do this and kind of what you saw in the trailer. You're able to spread through everything, show everything, do it super fair, instantly repeatable, all that. It just kind of progressed over the years and became this very simple but refined gimmick that is like super usable. So as easy it was to throw that stack of business cards in your pocket, and now you can do that with cash now. So it was just, and it started out as just a way for us to do a more, like you said, organic version of all of our favorite out to lunch effects.
Sure.
But
yeah, and the best thing is that we can, after like having this gimmick in our hand and playing with it, there's some unique and original things that you could never do with Out to Lunch before that just becomes possible with this version. So we put a lot of that in there too.
Leave it to the boys to come up with something that's, you're kind of known for this. You take these principles that have been around. Sometimes some of your releases are like this. You take some of the principles and you find new ways to make them fit, like the times we have now, because not everyone carries around, like you said, business cards in general these days, let's be honest, and a pad with, a thing around it. So I love how you've taken something that people love and made it actually like workable for people now, which is kind of like what you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's like one of our favorite things to do is take old stuff like that is great, like it's already proven great, right? And just I guess we always want to take everything, because our whole goal with all releasing Magic is really just to push Magic a little bit more forward, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because you really think like on these classic premises, right? Like you even think like Ambitious Card or Out to Lunch or anything like that. Like it's constantly throughout the years somebody releases a little adaptation to it, and it slowly builds into something, over. So we want to always make sure that whenever we do something, we're adding at least like a little something. Absolutely. And this is actually, it ended up being a bigger leap forward than we had anticipated. But it's just our addition is taking something older, seeing like what's the next logical step to this trick,
Cool.
Because the method's so ingenious as it is to the normal Out to Lunch. And now we just said let's take it to the next level, I guess. And
it's something that people would like feel comfortable, like you were mentioning, something people feel comfortable doing in this century.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask a question too right up front, because this is the number one question I know is going to be going on, because this is just now being released. Can you do this with any bills? In the trailer we're seeing US dollar bills or just the bills over here. Can you do this with any currency, or is it specific to like paper currency?
No, so obviously we don't know money everywhere, but in theory it works with every bill. So there's really no circumstance or any bills, large, small, size, because not only do we include the actual gimmick itself built, ready to go, that fits perfectly for U.S. money. It works as well. It works very well for all of the other currencies. But then we also included the extra materials so that you could remake it to the exact specifications of any country's bill. So you're like good to go no matter where you're from, no matter what you're doing, no matter what currency you're using, paper, plastic, doesn't matter.
And I remember when we went out filming for the trailer, we ended up using Mexican pesos, which is a plastic. It's the plastic money. It works great with that, so it's going to work great for Canadian, work great for UK. I think it's going to be really good for. I can't imagine a currency that it's not going to be killer for.
That's great. Yeah, because again, sometimes people see trailers and they go, "Oh man, I really like this, but I don't live there, or I can't do this." So this time, you're in luck, guys.
It's for everything. We're always trying to think about that, because I think we have a lot of fans out of America, out of the U.S., and so it's to give those guys some good money magic.
Absolutely, yeah. And you also nailed another question that's going to be very popular, because there are some things now that are do-it-yourself, some things that come pre-made, some things in the middle. This is something that when you pick it up and you buy it, the gimmick, as you just mentioned, is assembled, it's ready. You just have to use your money. Obviously, we're not going to ship money. So
but we talked about it. We were like, should we just include like a couple bucks? I don't know. Like,
right.
We're like, nah, probably not.
Oh man.
But that's something we always try and do over the abstract effects. Is we're trying to always include, no matter what it is, pre-built, right? So you always get it right away, able to do it, because
that's the worst thing, is to like be so excited. I want to figure out how this works. I want to play with my new magic trick, and it's like, oh shoot, I got to watch an hour-long video and then do a 30-minute build.
Yeah.
Because for most people, honestly, if they watch the trailer and then get the gimmick, they can kind of almost piece it together, and they don't even end up watching the explanation. And I think some people enjoy that, so that's fine. But then also on top of that, we always want to include, whenever we can, for the second bit, is trying to include the material so they can always make a spare or a custom one to something else. So because that's kind of me and Daryl being two different people. That's where we both, because I'm the guy who doesn't want to build anything. I don't want to touch scissors. I don't want to touch tape. I don't want to touch anything. And then Daryl is like, I just want to build it myself.
I want it to be what I want it to be.
So instead of arguing about it, we said, let's just do both.
No, I mean, there's two of you. You have to find a way to meet in the middle somewhere, right? So,
Right.
yeah, there you go. All right. Well, that's good to know too, because I think sometimes people get like Daryl Williams was saying, people do get frustrated when they do get something they're so excited about, and it's like, oh man, like I really wanted to do this, and it's cool that finally something's coming out here that you can just pick up and start doing right away, which is awesome.
I think we're finally out of the era where it was like you see like the most crazy, amazing effect, and then it's like, okay, so it comes with a paper clip, and then you got to go to the hardware store and get these special hinges. And
yeah, right. Time to be MacGyver over there. Yeah,
magic. I don't.
So we know that now. We know that you can start to do this, which leads me to my next question. So we know about the gimmick. It comes pre-made, and that's great. People are going to love that. But when it comes to using it, let's talk about that. Like, what do you learn when you actually get this? What do you get to learn to do with it? Because it is such a fun thing to use, and it's an easy thing to use. What's included there for people to start playing with if they haven't used Out to Lunch before? That principle.
Yeah. So like I think we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but the cool thing about our Out to Lunch is it actually does everything that any other Out to Lunch trick does, because it has all those same properties, and it also adds new properties. But you don't lose anything from the original. So what we did is we included a couple of our favorite classic Out to Lunch effects, and just kind of getting people familiarized with the principle and some of like the gems,
My favorite one made the cut, so I'm super pleased. My favorite Out to Lunch trick is on the video.
Cool.
So that's on there, and we go through kind of like one that I like, a simple version, one that Daryl likes, and then we also, because with that stuff we don't want to go into a lot of detail because really there's so much good published material with the classic Out to Lunch stuff, right?
True.
I mean, you could go get downloads right now on, all the different websites of people, Penguin, Vanishing Ink. They all have great books and downloads and DVDs, all on this stuff, and it's all like fairly cheap with like hundreds of effects, and so.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so what we spend a lot of time explaining is the new effects you can do using the new principles of Midnight Breakfast. So, so there's one routine that we are absolutely obsessed with. Like, it's just oh man, it's 3 parts, and it's kind of what we imagine it being is the perfect follow up to Extreme Burn or Hundy 500 or one of those like ones to hundreds.
Yeah.
Because you do that. And so now you've got a stack of money, which is perfect for Midnight Breakfast. And then you have 2 people sign bills. And what's so good is at this moment, one person's holding a signed bill between their hand, which you guys saw the trailer, so you saw this. And the other person has a signed bill out in the open. And at that moment, you haven't done any magic yet for this, but you are done with method. Like your method is pretty much, I'd say 90% done, which is the best thing in magic, as you know. It's like, oh, I've done everything I need to do, and now it's just acting, right?
Just writing it out.
And so then you get a torn and restored bill, which actually like we teach one, but also you can do any one. We recommend Blake Voigt's Regeneration for that bit.
Cool.
If you haven't done that, but really do any one that you want. We teach one, and then after that you have an impossible object that appears in the other spectator's hands, right, with their bill now being torn, which they, in the cleanest way possible, saw themselves holding their signed bill, and now it's torn. And then an object to impossible location where that corner could have been anywhere. And I mean, like, it's actually the corner from the bill, and it can actually be anywhere, it's not like a sleight of hand thing. Like, it's actually wherever you want it to be, and so we're just super excited about that routine specifically because of all the moments in it, and It's just so, like I said, the Midnight Breakfast gimmick does everything for you.
Sweet, yeah. And speaking of the gimmick, I know you're mentioning it does most of the work for you. How easy is it to use? We have people different scale, different levels of skill. How easy would you say this is to do at the end of the day?
If you can do a double lift, you're overqualified.
What is? Oh, okay, all right. Are you serious?
No double lifts, but it's like really basic stuff.
Right.
I mean, like, I can't imagine. And like I said, for everybody who is familiar with Out to Lunch, like, how simple that is, and this is just that simple.
Pull it out and it's done.
Wow, that's awesome. And obviously people are going to love that. And the fact that it's easy and it's not a card trick. I know you were joking around about not being, more difficult than that, but isn't it nice when you guys can find things that, well, I like it when you guys find things that aren't card tricks. There's so many of those that are popping out, and there's a lot of great ones, but it's so nice. Everyone carries money, and it's such an offbeat piece of magic. It's so easy to do, which is another huge plus with this. What about the reset though? Like, let's say you're doing walk around and you've just done this, everyone's freaking out. Let's say maybe you're a restaurant magician, and then maybe a couple tables later you want to do it again. How long would it take you to reset this to be able to do it again?
So what's so cool about it is depending on what out to lunch tricks you choose to do.
Sure.
Because but with I'd say about half of the out to lunch trick out there, this becomes instantly resettable. It's like
a tissue box. You pull one out and it's ready.
Yeah, just like the classics. Like you're ready to go immediately all night long with this. And then if the effect requires you to do like a full reset, the full reset takes maybe 15 seconds.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty great, and then so you can literally go from group to group to group without pausing, or you can, if you want to do a more elaborate effect like the three phase routine we talked about earlier, then there's a little bit of setup, but it's just really quickly repeatable.
Nice. And which one is your favorite, Darrell Williams? Which one was your favorite? Because you said it made it on there. I'm curious if you're talking about this one so much. Which one was your favorite though that made it on the instructional part?
It's a pseudo hypnosis routine.
Okay.
So it just has all the interesting bits of hypnosis, but you don't have to practice hypnosis at all.
Yeah, it kind of got me at first. I was like, wow. Because I'll just tell you guys what the effect is. Like we're not trying to keep it a secret. It's such a good effect. It's and this is a classic one, but he's writing down on the bill a color. Mm-hmm. And he's able to show me, and I'm watching him write it, the spectator, right? He's showing the spectator, like, look, I'm going to write down a color. You see me writing it. Yeah, you can even, like, sign it if you want or whatever. And so the guy signs the bill where there's also the color written. He sees the color. You then take his signed bill and show the audience and say, look, here's the color. And now you just tell him, you say, what's the color you saw? And he names the wrong color. And he swear, and this is what's great is when I see Darrell do this, is like these people are swearing up and down. I watched him write it, I signed it, this and this. I saw him write it, and I don't know how he switched it. They can't even think switch because it's signed, and they see their signature and what he wrote at the same time.
Oh wow!
So it becomes this really fun, like double reality hypnotism, weird moment. So
that's cool. So you've also taken the work out of hypnosis now too, from the sound of it. You guys have done it all, right? Why not? Oh, that's awesome. All right. So obviously there's a lot of different uses for this. And it's really hard to go wrong with a principle like this that's been around for so long. But now, again, it's been modernized. That's the word I like. It's been modernized, been, brought forward. And, you guys have a real knack of doing that with so many different things. And with this in particular, is the name... Is it based on when you came up with this? Because it's midnight. I know the out to lunch when you got breakfast, but when it came to actually piecing this together, did you come up with this like one of those late night sessions, or did it come from like you stumbling, like playing with bills and going, oh, wait a second, like where did it come from?
Yeah, so I think it was a build to impossible location is what we were trying to play with.
Okay, got it.
And so that's kind of where we discovered it, which was like middle of a work day, just jamming and just hanging out. But the name is fun because obviously it was out to lunch, out to dinner, which was amazing. And so we said, so we realized this is another out to lunch kind of step forward. And so we said, what do we call it? And
what's the next meal after dinner?
Look at us. We always eat after dinner. So in Vegas, as you know, Luke, they have the best midnight breakfast. So if you're not from Vegas, and next time you have to do this, because most of the casinos at midnight, they take their coffee shops that are pretty normally expensive, and they make everything like $3, and you get a full steak, eggs, hash browns, grits, orange juice, and you pay like a few dollars, but it's only after midnight because they're open 24 hours. So it was like a huge thing growing up. It was always midnight breakfast. What are you doing tonight? You hang out, you go bowling, you go to the bar, whatever, and you always end up at midnight breakfast.
Love it.
And so we just thought it was a cool homage to this Vegas life that we get to live out here.
Love it. Yeah, and I knew the backstory, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it is true. We have a pretty cool city we live in, and people should definitely try that. And this leads me to my next question. It's for each of you, because if we're going to derail from the trick for a second, we're talking about midnight breakfast. So when it comes to breakfast food, this is for each of you. What is your favorite breakfast food? What is the one thing that both of you like to eat for breakfast? What is it
We
for
should,
the
we should
Daryls?
answer each other. So
Ooh.
I'm gonna name Daryl's, and Daryl's gonna tell me if I'm right.
Okay.
So I think Daryl Williams over here, I think his hands down favorite breakfast food that he can't live without is sausage.
Okay.
Yeah, but
all right.
sausage, biscuits, and gravy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, sausage. The great thing in London is there's so many sausages. So
True.
I'm definitely getting my fill: lunch, breakfast, dinner, all of them.
Cool.
And then Daryl's is eggs scrambled, very easily cooked, so they're very runny.
Yes.
Steak, medium rare, hash browns.
Dude, he's got it. He knows, dude. It's the runny eggs for me. That's it. Like, I like them wet. They're like, and usually they're the carton eggs, so it's literally just like liquid, yellow, cold eggs. So you regret asking that question, Luke? Because I think we're not going to be able to convince you to come to midnight breakfast with us.
Pardon me while I. Man. I'll stay away from your midnight breakfast. Jesus. Oh man. Well, I just it's.
Unless you regret it immediately after.
I asked and I got what I didn't expect to hear, but okay, I'll take it. Again, guys, we are talking about their brand new release, Midnight Breakfast. So if you have any questions, you can always post them below. I know this is a pre-recorded interview, but if you have questions, you can go ahead and post them below over here, or at least I'll be here as well to help answer those later. I did have something else I want to ask you guys about because I know you're out of town right now. This is a timely thing, but I know Magic Live is coming up next month here in Las Vegas, one of the biggest Magic conventions in the world. And I know that you guys had some pretty exciting news, and I asked you earlier if you could share it, and you're like, yeah. So why don't you drop this on the guys that are going to be coming out to Las Vegas here this summer?
Dude, if you're coming out to Magic Live, come to the Abstract Effects booth. It's going to be so much fun. We got one of the biggest booths, and we're doing it up right. It's going to be a party, and you guys are all invited.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I mean, Stan is taking it to the next level this year. He's redoing the whole layout of the dealer's room. It's like, I mean, like I said, there's like these mega booths, and we got lucky enough to be one of them, and so we're going like all out. I mean, like this is like right now currently Max, you guys might know him from Maxwell Signature Opener. He's our business manager, and he's out there in Vegas right now, just like running like a chicken with his head cut off, like doing all this stuff to get ready for Magic Live, and it's all coming together so nice, and it's exciting. So this is a big step for us, kind of like our big like birthing of our company, I guess, like our debut. Cool. And so we're just so excited to hang out with everybody, and I know there's a lot of people watching this we're going to hang out with, and maybe we can take you for midnight breakfast. We'll have just a big midnight breakfast jam session at Magic Live.
Yeah.
I think I'll pass on that. Minus the runny eggs, but Oh man. Well, I'm stoked for you guys. That is a big deal, obviously. Especially being at one of the biggest conventions in the world, and you guys were also at the biggest convention in the world at Blackpool. I think the most exciting thing for me is that this is just the beginning for Abstract Effects, isn't it? Because I know, like, talked to you a little while back about Titan. I know it's a Nicholas Lawrence thing, but it's under the Abstract Effects umbrella. So is this just the beginning for you guys? Like, I'm kind of eager to know that too.
Yeah, I wish we could just say what kind of stuff we have in the pipeline, but oh man, there's a lot coming and we're not slowing down.
Yeah, just picking up kind of exponentially from here, because like with Nicholas and Maxwell, we're doing like this crazy thing, and we've been all putting all of our like investment into this and time and working so hard to produce these great tricks from ourselves and our friends. So we're actually going to be debuting a couple things at Magic Live, which is exciting. So those will be brand new effects. You'll just get a taste of what's coming, and also we're going to kind of tease at Magic Live kind of what the rest of the year is holding out for us. And so, I mean, really what our goal with Abstract Effects is to put out like the coolest Magic and be kind of like a more down-to-earth Magic company. And because really we're just guys trying to just push Magic forward and just do the craziest, hypest Magic we can possibly put out there into the world. So, and everybody's been so extremely supportive that it's like surprising to us, and we just absolutely feel all the love from everybody and the support. And we just want to thank everybody who has supported us in any way throughout the year. So
That's awesome, man. And it's really nice. I mentioned this earlier. It's a breath of fresh air. Not just the fact that you mentioned yourself, you want to give people pre-made stuff when they get it, but also the fact that you guys find a way to put out commercial, practical stuff that people will they're actually going to use. It's not just something they're going to play with and it's going to break and it's not going to work. Like these are things you guys actually use and that you do. So it's nice to know that you have more of that type of stuff. And I'm sure you have a filter for that type of material. And I'm sure you have to say no to a lot of stuff because it just doesn't fit your criteria. But it's nice to know that you guys are also pushing that stuff forward that's actually good in its quality stuff,
Yeah, and that's what we're going for, is to put down and we have an interesting policy, kind of like within our company, is just basically it doesn't matter what the order is of releasing, because I think what ends up happening is a lot of magic companies, they say, okay, we got this trick we want to do, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. But we're trying to put out the best stuff always. So whenever something comes along and it's like, oh, this is amazing, it gets pushed to the front, right? We want to keep constantly putting out the best magic we possibly can, and not follow a schedule, not follow a plan, and just do, because our only goal is for the next trick to always be the best trick that we have. And so not just ours, but of other people's we're producing as well,
Cool. Well, I'm going to let you guys get out of here in just a second. I want to make sure, though, was there anything else about Midnight Breakfast that you wanted to tell the guys about? I know it's a brand new release. I know there's going to be a lot of questions. Hopefully we tried to answer as many of them as we could. Here we talked about the reset, pretty much instant for most of the routines, maybe one of them 10, 15 seconds max. Talked about how easy it is to do, super easy, what's on there, pre-made gimmick, even what you guys like to eat for breakfast. But were there any other things? Any other things you want to make sure people know about when it comes to this? Because we're trying to give them as much info as we can about the important things, that they want to know about.
Yeah. I mean, I would say because there's so much talk about out to lunch, right? Out to lunch, out to lunch. And I'm assuming there's a good handful of people that don't know what out to lunch is. Sure. It's kind of an older effect. And all we can say is just encourage them to just do a quick YouTube search of out to lunch. I'm sure there's a million videos and there's free resources out there online that can teach you what out to lunch is. And then I think everything you'll be able to kind of rewatch the trailer and pick up an insights of what's going on and why this is different and why it's better. And so we're really hoping that's what this does as well, is opens people's eyes to old magic that's really, really good, because there's so much good. It's not always the new stuff that's the best, right? It's sometimes looking into the past and seeing what exists. And we want to constantly be pointing people backwards. Say, look at what's out there. People are clamoring for new material, and really there's an infinite supply of it back there in the past, So we're always wanting to stay in the future, stay hip, but also let people look back into the history of everything.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, and we wouldn't be able to do any of this if it weren't for the people that came before. Right. So it's pretty cool of you guys to say that. And the other important thing too, I want to make sure people know about, this works with any bills. This isn't specific to U.S. paper money. Daryl Williams has mentioned they're using plastic bills to do this as well. So I want to make sure we throw that most important detail in, that this is something you can do.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't have to lose money to do it. You're not doing anything that makes any money unusable, and you'll never have to pick your X-fold bill apart to be able to spend it. No, if you have to spend the money, you just spend the money. It's all good.
That is good. So you're not chopping and cutting your money. Again, this is a gimmick that literally gets inserted and you're done.
Sweet. All right. Well, that is the most important detail. And again, there's no do-it-yourself, guys. So you are able to pick this up and start doing it. But I do definitely recommend watching the instructional to get all the details from the boys. So very good.
Oh, there's a crazy blooper reel at the end. So you should make it all the way to the end of this. Because I think we realized nobody watches at the end of these things. So we just put crazy bloopers at the end. So you should definitely watch it. We were filming it at I don't know, 2 in the morning or something. At Piff the Magic Dragon's office/cave. And we were delirious at that point. So it's a fun video to watch, the instructional. So stick around to the end of it.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys get some sleep over there. I know we're hitting midnight your time. So thanks for hanging out and making some time to do this. I know everyone appreciates it, us included, of course. So congrats on the new release. Looking forward to seeing you guys back here in Vegas for Magic Live, and all the other things you guys have up your sleeve. Can't wait to see what you got, man. Both of you guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Luke, for always taking the time for this. And thank you guys for watching. And seriously, we love you guys over at Murphy's and all you guys supporting us. So thank you guys so much.